I'm Chase Core.
I'm Chris Core.
And this is the Andrews Mustangs Slot Team Mafia Show, episode 14. We're here in the studio, brought to you by Daniel Montoya with Monument Realty. And our backdrop here is brought to you by Nix and Nax. In this episode, we are going to go over the Brownwood game recap. We're going to look ahead to the Big Spring Steers game this Friday. It's going to be the last home game. And then we're going to have our 4A Region 1 Division 1 Gore poll. And then we are also going to go over our pick'em section. And then we have some very special guests, some Andrews Mustangs live in studio for an interview. So buckle up. Don't get too scared. It's Halloween night. We're going to have some fun. And also, we are not affiliated with Andrews High School or Andrews Independent School District. And we're going to go ahead and move into the Brownwood recap. Chris, tell me something that you saw in the game.
Yeah, so, the Mustangs had a really good showing Friday night. I think they kind of surprised a lot of people. They ended up losing 28-14. We were down 21-14 in the middle of the fourth quarter, had a chance to maybe get the ball back. I think we didn't recover an onside. Brownwood went down and scored. But I think we outpossessed them like 38 minutes to 16 or 20, something crazy. We outgained them by about 100 yards. Jay Sean DeBose had a big game. Jeremiah Mullins, Aiden Olivas had a big game. The line played fantastic. And, really, the defense held one of the best offenses in Class 4A in the state to 28 points. Just a good showing. We've talked all year. We just haven't been able to put four quarters together, whether it's fumbles, whether it's penalties, defense giving up big plays. But we finally did that Friday. The last piece of the puzzle is possessing the ball, and ball control's great, but you got to score when you have the ball. But big steps taken by the Mustangs. Hats off to Coach Harvey and his staff and the kids. Had a really good show on Friday night.
It was the best game they played all year. One thing I just want to put together, the way that they played this Friday night, anybody else that we played on our schedule, those are victories. And that's how good the Mustangs played. Very proud of them. We're going to go ahead and go over real quick. Total plays, Andrews ran 74 plays to Brownwood's 35.
Wow.
Total yards, Andrews had 343 to Brownwood's 276.
Wow.
Passing yards, we had no passing yards. Brownwood only had 26 passing yards. Rushing yards, we had 343 to their 250. First downs, we had 19 first downs to their 12. Turnovers, we had 0.
Big stat.
Big. And then Brownwood had 2 turnovers. Rushing, Jay Sean DeBose was 23 for 189 and a touchdown. Mr. Mullins was 12 for 72 and a tutty. Marcusio Size, 17 for 60. Aiden Olivas was 7 for 15. And Leroy Mion was 5 for 7. And then we're going to go into the defense. Total team defense played great. Great defensive effort. That's the main thing is you saw effort, people getting to the ball. They wasn't quitting on the play. And just watching the game live, give a shout out on a big drive down there late in the fourth quarter. Diego Peregrino with a big forced fumble, and Jet Fisher with the recovery on that play. And then shout out section, the offensive play callers for Andrews. That was the best executed and play called game. I got to give credit where credit is due. They had the right plays called at the right time, and it was executed phenomenal. Offensive line, shout out, great job. Running backs, shout out, great jobs. Hard running all night.
No fumbles.
We were punishing their defensive backs. They didn't like to tackle. They might be great defenders in the passing game, but they didn't like to tackle, and you could tell because our running backs were dishing out the punishment. And our running backs, one thing you saw, they had 2 hands on the football. Great to see. And then shout out to the entire defense. Awesome effort. You can't say nothing else. And so that's going to go ahead and that's going to conclude the Brownwood recap, and we'll get rid of that one. We're going to go ahead and move on to this Friday. We have Big Spring coming to town, last home game. It's senior night. Big Spring's a big rivalry. But they come in on the year at 2-7. This game, basically, both teams are in the playoffs, but this is the difference between the 3rd seed and 4th seed. And also in this game is playing for pride. And both teams wear the black and gold, and this is a big game for pride. Big Spring's defense is giving up an average of 45 points per game. They got a lot of kids going both ways on both sides of the football. They line up. They like to throw the rock around, and quarterback just likes to run around and chunk the ball down the field. Sometimes when you're watching them play, when you're watching a team, you can kind of see what they're trying to do. Sometimes when you're watching them, it looks like when we were little kids playing out in the street, going like, hey, you go here and do an out and up here. And that's just kind of the way it looks. This is a massive rivalry. The all-time record, Andrews has 24 wins against Big Spring. Big Spring has 21 wins against Andrews and 1 tie coming in 1955.
Wow.
And both teams started playing all the way back in 1954. Also, to add to the rivalry, you got 2 ex-Andrews Mustangs over there. Their head coach and their superintendent are both from Andrews. And we all know that we know them, good people, but you know that they want to put it on Andrews and they want to win. And they come down here a couple of years ago and they embarrassed us in Andrews. Last year, we returned the favor, went to Big Spring and embarrassed them on their home field. And so this is a big game. And even though implications were both in the playoffs, there's a lot riding on this. Chris, what do you got to think about Big Spring?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's always been a big rivalry. Coach McWilliams over there, his son's done a really good job kind of getting them out. There for a while, for several years, Big Spring, when there was like Lakeview on your schedule. I mean, it was you're going to win, you're going to win big. They've done a good job of getting them up, pulling them up, and getting them to be more competitive. Like you said, they a couple of years ago, they came over here and beat us for the first time in a long time. Like you said, we returned the favor last year. They've struggled this year. We watched them play a couple of times earlier in the year. They didn't look real physical. Like you said, they looked discombobulated. I think they had maybe some injuries, some kids out early. But they played Estacada tough last week. I think they got beat 33-16, and they blew Lakeview out the week before that. And I think it looks like they've kind of went to more of a run base. They've kind of cut back on their throwing. It doesn't mean they're not going to throw, but I think they may be trying to simplify things. What they were doing, obviously, prior to that wasn't working real well. But they're 2-7. We're 4-5. It's for the 3rd and 4th place seeding in the district. It doesn't matter if we're both 9-0 or 0-9 coming into the game. It's going to be like you said, a rivalry game, a hard fought game, but a lot of pride on the line. A lot of pride on the line. Coach McWilliams, he'll have his bunch ready to play, and I think it's a good matchup for us. I really do.
Well, we're going to be there live. We're going to be live streaming. It's going to be a lot of fun. One little wrinkle we're going to add into this show real quick is me and Chris both played in rivalries against Big Spring. Chris, I want you to go ahead and give me a game and kind of tell me about it that you were a part of against Big Spring back in the old days.
Yeah, so in the late 80s, my sophomore year in '89, Big Spring was really good. They just dropped down from 5A, and they went to the semifinals that year. We had some injuries. Coach Morris was our quarterback, and had a running back named Matt Carroll, who was a phenomenal back, went on to play at Hardin-Simmons. I think he's coaching in San Antonio now. Matt's a great guy. Matt was a fantastic running back. He got hurt earlier in the year, and we kind of struggled offensively, but we got Matt back probably 7th or 8th game of the year. We had went to Big Spring to play them, and they had a stacked team, Pat Wilbert and Neil Mayfield, and I mean they had they were big, they were fast. Like I think they lost to Tyler Chapel Hill in the semifinals that year. I mean they were good, and we played them tough. They beat us 35-33 over there. Like I said, we had a lot of injuries earlier in the year. Got some people back. The next week we went to Sweetwater and beat them. 4 years removed from a state championship. So we were kind of picked, unfortunately, back then. Only the top 2 teams went to the playoffs. It wasn't ever 4 like it is now. So we had to sit home. But that was we played some other good games against them, but that was probably the best game.
All right. And mine is going to be 1993 homecoming here in Andrews. Big Spring come to town. And at the time, we were sitting at 5-0, and they were 4-1. They had a quarterback over there named Wes Hughes, and for Big Spring. And at that time, they were one of the first teams that they really kind of spread it out. They wasn't really a all-running type of team. In that game, we ended up defeating Big Spring 28-10. Quarterback Brian Leopard was our quarterback for Andrews at the time. He actually had 249 passing yards in the game and 2 touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns to Michael Boswell.
Oh, wow.
And Michael Boswell now is living over in Odessa. His son last year was a big-time baseball player over at Permian, and I think he's playing somewhere now. In the backfield, we had Kevin Lawrence and Jonathan McDonald had big games in that game. And on the defensive end, junior safety, Queek Guevara, that's a name you haven't heard in a long time. Yeah. He had a big interception in the game, and they had a junior linebacker named Chase Gore on the team. And he had 5 sacks, a forced fumble, 3 tackles for loss, and an interception to end off the
call
game.
You Michael Parsons.
And that was I despised Big Spring and their quarterback that year, so I made it my mission, and it was a fun game. Also, Justin Strickland, I don't know if you remember that name, wide receiver in Andrews, had a big 66-yard catch in that game. But that's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to go ahead. We're going to move on to the next section, and we have our 4A Region 1, Division 1 Gore Poll, 20 teams in 4A Region 1, Division 1, and every week it goes up and down. Brownwood's going to remain with the number 1 seed. Decatur's number 2. We got Springtown at number 3. Estacada is going to leapfrog back over Canyon at number 4. Canyon's going to come in at number 5. Hereford at number 6. Canyon Randall is going to leapfrog over Andrews to the number 7 spot. Andrews comes in at number 8. Dumas at number 9. And at the number 10 spot, we're going to give El Paso Riverside some love.
Riverside Rangers, got to give them
Riverside
some
Rangers. So that's going to conclude our 4A Region 1, Division 1 Gore poll. Now we're going to go into the pick'em section. We're on the season. Yours truly is 41 wins and 18 losses. And my co-host here is 40 wins and 19 losses.
Close.
One game behind. So this week's game, Chris, first game, I got Dumas at Hereford.
Be a good game, big rivalry up in the Panhandle. I think we're both surprised. Dumas beat Canyon Friday night. That was a shocker. So Hereford's they picked it up a little this year, but
they've all been playing some real stiff competition.
They have. Is Hereford? They playing in Hereford?
Huh?
Hereford?
It's at Hereford.
I'm going to say the Herd by field goal.
Okay, you got the Herd by field goal. I'm gonna take that momentum because if Dumas wins this game, I believe it's like a 3 or 4-way tie.
They're 4-5 and 3-1.
It'll be an all-way tie for first. So I'm going to take Dumas, and let's go with a 3-point victory in Hereford.
Be a good game.
All right, game number 2. This is a barn burner deluxe. Lakeview at Estacado.
Man, I feel sorry for Lakeview. Gosh, one of these days I would not mind seeing Lakeview put together a winning season. But Estacado by 70.
All right, Estacado by 65. All right, I got Snyder at Sweetwater.
That's a big rivalry. Sweetwater started off strong. I think they had some injuries. They've kind of floundered. Snyder, too. I think Snyder's 0-3 in that district. They hadn't beaten anybody. We saw them play Randall earlier in the year. They didn't look too impressive. So I'm going to say Sweetwater by 7.
I got Sweetwater by 14. Game number 4, I got Permian at Midland High.
Well,
game.
It is. Permian beat a hapless Central team last week. Midland High got their first loss against Lee. That game wasn't as close as I thought it was going to be. But, Legacy, Lee, whatever they call them now, they got some talented players. I'm going to say Midland High by 17.
I'm going to go Midland High by 7. Both coaches were on the same staff together. Same offense, so they're going to know each other's tricks.
Oh, yeah.
Game number 5, La Vega at Stephenville.
So La Vega, like Estacada, if you've been following the realignment, La Vega's dropping down to 4A Division II next year. So this will be their last shot. When Stephenville first moved into that district, La Vega ran all over them the first few years. Stephenville's turned it around, obviously won a state championship a couple years ago. I'm going to say Yellow Jackets by 21.
I got Stephenville by 14. Game number 6, Dallas Cowboys at Philadelphia Eagles.
Hey, Cowboys are moving in the right direction. Got back on track. Great showing Sunday. It's at Philly. I just cannot pick the Eagles to beat the Cowboys. So I'm going to say Dallas by 1. Last second field goal.
All right, I got Dallas by 14.
Hope you're right.
And then bonus game. And it's going and with the tiebreaker, with the score, whoever gets closest to the score.
All right.
Big Spring Steers at Andrews.
Okay, so I don't want to give the Steers any unneeded fuel because they're going to be motivated enough. But watching Big Spring play, Big Spring is going to be coached up and ready to play. Physically, I don't think they match up with us. I'm going to say Andrews 49, Big Spring 16.
All right, and I'm going to say I've got Andrews 55-21 over Big Spring. So, all right, and that's going to be the tiebreaker there. Yep. So, all right, folks, we're going to be right back, and we're going to have some Andrews Mustangs live in studio.
Yes, sir.
Back here live in studio, Andrews Mustang Slot Team Office Show, episode 14. We have some of the Andrews Mustang senior leaders that are here in the studio. And I tell you what, why don't go ahead and start here, and y'all go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Jet Fisher. I'm a senior. Play safety and wear number 3.
I'm Juan Hernandez. I'm a senior. I'm number 4, and I play defensive end.
I'm Damian Ordonez. I'm number 1, and I play cornerback.
I'm Aiden Olivas. I'm number 7, and I'm QB.
I'm Tate Gore, and I play center, and my number is 55.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ask you guys, and then y'all can kind of pass the mic around, or y'all can decide who wants to answer for each question or take turns. But this last Friday, going down to Brownwood, y'all put in your best performance, technically, effort-wise. I mean, you guys played one heck of a game. You got to play in the rain. It was cold. And then also that Gordon Wood Stadium, that stadium has got a lot of tradition, big atmosphere against a good team. So tell me, one of y'all tell me about how that experience was for y'all. Jet, how was that experience?
You know, it was a lot of fun. That was really probably one of the first times I've ever played in the rain. You know, it don't rain a whole lot around here. And it was different tackling. I mean, it was slick, but it was a lot of fun. I thought it was probably one of the best games we played this season. And I hope we can, you know, carry that on, build off of it. That was a really cool and awesome stadium to play in. And it would have been better if we got the win, but it was still a good experience.
Tate Gore?
Yeah, it was fun. When we saw it was raining before kickoff, we got real excited. I mean, like in the pregame, we were going crazy. It was fun playing in the rain. I mean, for me, it was a little difficult since the ball was slippery. But, I mean, all around, I mean, I usually don't get to experience that, so I was real excited.
Yeah, going off of what Tate said, the atmosphere was amazing. The energy was up. We were all hype, excited, just ready to go play our game. It was very fun. The snaps were a little shaky, but we had to adapt and learn to take it a little different. But we had fun, a lot of fun.
Yeah, going off what they said, like, it was super fun. It was one of the funnest games I've ever had, honestly, because just the rain coming in and out, and, you know, tackling was hard and stuff, but, I mean, it was still fun to play in the rain and just be, you know, going at it.
Yeah, just what everyone else said. That's just one of a game to remember. Like, you don't get a lot of, down here in West Texas, you don't get a lot of rainy games like that, and it was just great atmosphere and fun game for everyone.
And then myself, watching the game from on the sideline and then up in the stands and back and forth, you could tell that you guys were in it and y'all were enjoying it and you were having fun and you were in the moment. And that was probably the funnest game that I've got to witness this year because, I mean, it was just everything that night clicked. We outplayed Brownwood. We had we were this close, and I was very proud of you guys. Now we're going to go ahead and go into, this is going to be senior week. This is the last home game that these gentlemen, they'll get to play in Andrews. This will be the last time that they get to play at home. And we haven't won a game at home this year. And so we got a big rivalry coming to town in Big Spring. I think it's time to go out in style and go out big. What do you guys think?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Last home game's already here. Playing in the Mustang Bowl since I was in the 3rd grade. I always wanted to play Friday Night Lights, and I never would have thought that we wouldn't have had a win going into the last home game. But I think this is a time that we come out. I think we're gonna fix that on Friday.
Yes, sir. Going off what Jess said, I feel like our team is just coming together, and we're gonna end off on a strong note here at home on Friday.
It's gonna be sad, man. I think I'm gonna cry for sure, cause that's our last home game. I'm a senior. That's crazy. I didn't really think, like, when I first joined football, I wasn't playing with Pee Wee and all that. So when I first joined football in 8th grade, I didn't think like how much it would grow on me and how much it would mean to me in my life right now. And just, yeah, it's just gonna suck. It's gonna suck, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a hard pill to swallow. I think it's gonna be emotional after the game, but during the game, I have to get the job done, get the home dub for the first time this year. It's kind of crazy to not have a home win yet, but I think it'll be fun. I think the atmosphere will be really good there Friday night. So I'm just ready to go put on a show.
Yes, sir. Going off of what Ace said, this is gonna be a tough game, but we're gonna put everything together, I think, and we're gonna get a big home win. Finally, put everything and have a good game to go off into the playoffs with, and I think I'm excited and I can't wait to see where this game goes.
See where it ends. Will being the last time you get to play at home, put it all out on the field. Every play, you give it all that you got. Leave nothing there because this is it, and make it a memorable one. You know what I mean? Go out there and visualize the night before what you're going to do, and then go out there, maximum effort, and get the job done. And no better way to end your career than whooping some steers at home. So let's put it together. Hey, and when you say things like that, hey, I'm writing the check. You guys got to go cash it. All right.
Sir.
So I hope you guys, and I know you guys will. You're going to show up. You're going to play hard. You're going to take care of business. And I appreciate you guys coming on the show. Most of y'all I've known for a long time, and it's been my pleasure to be a part of the ride with you guys. And most of y'all, I know Damon I've known since 7th grade, but the rest of y'all I've known since 3rd or 4th grade. We've done football, done a little baseball, and so it's this is going to be the last home game, and let's put it together. 2 games good in a row, and then we hit the playoffs. And then after that, you just played the top 5 team in the state at their house. You took them to the limit. You made them sweat. Now you know what you're capable of, and now anything is possible. Anything.
Yes, sir.
Got it? Yes, sir. Man, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and thank y'all for coming on.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's going to conclude this episode of the Andrews Mustang Slot Team Mafia Show. The show would not be possible if it wasn't for Daniel Montoya with Monument Realty. And backdrop here is brought to us by Nix and Nax. I want to thank my co-host, Chris Gore, for coming on the show.
Sir.
This Friday, last home game, Big Spring Steers coming to town. This will be senior night. Please
game.
get out. It's a big game, big for the community, big rivalry. Me and my co-host here will be live streaming the game. So if you can't get out, you can always catch it. We'll be live streaming. We're going to have a lot of fun. And always remember, folks, it's a great day to be a Mustang.
Yes, sir.